What's up, gamer guys and gals? It's your boy Venomous Seal here, and today, we have week 2 of the ISBL season 4. Now, go over my team. I'm up against In Cahoots, the season 3 champion, and the person I lost to in finals. Sad times, but we are here for the rematch. And I've got myself a nice team here, and I'll run over some of the stuff I've got. So, we have Mega Sizzle, bulky offensive with Bullet Punch, Sword Stance, Brick Break for the Aurora Veil, and Knockoff. Next we have offensive Stealth Rock, Garchomp, Life Orb, standard Stealth Rock, Iron Head, Earthquake, Stone Edge. We have Terrakion making its debut appearance. With an Assault Vest set, rocking Exazor, Stone Edge, Earthquake, Close Combat. Then we have Argos making a return, rocking Will-O-Wisp, Overheat, Defog, Thunderbolt. We are specially defensive, so that's something important to note. And then we have Hooper making its debut appearance, with Colberberry, and a physically defensive set. I don't really know if this is normal, but it kind of worked, so... yeah, I don't know. It might be tech, but I've never seen it. So, anyway, we have Lowland Persian making its return, bringing an offensive set this week. Not really sure if this Pokemon does offensive. Looking at its stats, I wouldn't say so, but yeah. So I've got Player Off, Gunk Shot, U-Turn, Knockoff. This thing deals with Mega Sharpedo, and it deals really big damage to it. Enough attack to Oko Hooper with a U-turn, and then Gunk Shot and Player Off. Obviously dense things like Mega Sharpedo and Alolan Ninetales. So also we've got Thunder Wave to slow things down for Hooper, even though it's not fast anyway. Colberberry so it can 1v1 Tornadus, Therian, and maybe like paralyze it or at least T-bolt it. Defog on Rotom Heat because of things like Stealth Rocks and Toxic Spikes, and of course it clears Aurora Veil. So we've got a pretty good team here. I'd say it might be better than the one last week. If you remember last week we got I'm not even going to talk about it, but let's get on to the match. Here we are. So he brings Mega Sharpedo, Nidoqueen, Tornadus Therian, Miltank, Alolan Ninetales, and Araquanid. No Hooper Unbound. That's the only reason I brought my Hooper. I didn't think it was a good matchup for it, but I still brought it just for the hype, but oh well. Immediately, things like Araquanid and Sharpedo put in a lot of work, so that was a problem. But, nevertheless, we shall begin this match right about now. So, I lead Hooper. Oh, he leads Nidoqueen. Obviously that's really good for me. I led Hooper because I thought he might lead Tornadus, just for like, so you can quickly use her now and it's faster than my whole team. I guess he led Nidoqueen to set Rocks or T-Spikes or something like that. Either way, I walled it and missed out with Psychic, so... As you can already see here, he switches to Araquanid. I get off my Psychic and it does nothing. I'm pretty sure this was max HP, max Spadef. I want to say Assault Vest. Didn't see it use any non-attacking moves, but this thing was very especially bulky. I get the Spadef drop firstly, which was handy. And now I'm just firing off T-Bolts. I go for a Psychic here, because I predict a switch into Nidoqueen. And just because Thunderbolt was still a roll to kill, so it didn't really matter what I went for, so... Anyway, he goes for a Scald, and that's 25%. And then I get him down with Psychic again. And he goes for a Liquidation, which does 50%. So he has Scald and Liquidation, so a lot of water moves there. I go for the Shadow Ball just to knock him out, predicting another switch just in case. He goes into a Alolan Ninetales. Now, I thought he was looking to kill me, and I was just going to be like, okay, I'll sack this thing off. But I also thought he might get greedy and try and set something up, like an Aurora Veil or a Nasty Plot. So as he sets that up, I fire off a nice T-Wave and paralyze this thing. So that kind of shuts this thing down from being useful offensively. I'm taking Hail Recoil here, but switch out into Argos, which completely walls this thing, which is pretty nice. And of course now I can just go for a Defog and get rid of the Aurora Veil as he goes into his Miltank. So not quite sure, he was probably an Overheat, but I got rid of the Defog, which was nice, or the Aurora Veil. He goes for Shattered Psyche, Z Zen Headbutt. Jeez, not expecting that. That's about 48%. Judging by my count, it looked offensive, so I'm glad I burned it. And another thing is, when he went into Miltank, I was sure it had Heal Bell, because you probably wanted to get rid of the paralysis on Ninetales straight away, but doesn't look like it. So he just goes for the Z Zen Headbutt. I couldn't even tell you what that would be for. I guess Terrakion, Mungus, I don't know, but does a good chunk to me. And now, who am I taking chip damage? I go into my Caesar as he goes for a Body Slam and does nothing. No paralysis, thank you. And the hell goes. I Mega Evolve and he Fire Punches me. I didn't know Miltank got Fire Punch, and I was lucky it didn't really do a lot, and I was lucky it got burned. So I set up a Source Dance here, and now I just go for Bullet Punch because it had a chance to kill. Didn't kill, goes down to 3%. So Brick Break killed, but he would have gone first, so there's not much point in me going for that. He goes for a Fire Punch and crits, and he gets 49%, which is... It would have mattered and it made things differently, but you'll see. So anyway, Miltank dies to burn, and a Alolan Ninetales comes in. This really threw me off because I've got Bullet Punch, so he's seen it, and even with like a Babiri Berry, it was still doing like 200%. So I don't even know what the plan was here. I go for a Brick Break. Just because, I don't know, I thought he might switch into something. Like, I thought he might switch into Sharpedo to take the Bullet Punch, and then he could just protect, and then I'd die to Hail. I know he brought this thing in to induce Hail, so I just go for Brick Break. It doesn't even kill, another 3%, and he sets up Aurora Veil. So this was a really weird turn. I barely live from Hail. I just fire off another Brick Break, and I take out the Aurora Veil and kill him. I actually forgot I was faster because it was paralyzed, so I don't know what I was expecting really. Right, he goes into his Tornadus, and I go into my Hooper. Now, I'm just looking to sack, stay in, let it die. I believe I clicked Thunderbolt or something like that, but he goes into his Nidoqueen here. I thought this was pretty strange because I've got two Mons on my team with Earthquake, which kind of just wreck this thing. And I pop his Shucker Berry. I was expecting that, honestly, just the way he played it. But I take an Ice Beam here and go down. It happens. You know, I wasn't really bothered about it because I still had my Terrakion to revenge this thing. So in comes Terrakion with my AV, and I knock it out with an Earthquake, which is nice. Hail goes away, thankfully, and Sharpedo comes in. Now, I go into my Rotom Heat, looking to sack this thing off, just so I can get a little Impersion in safely. He goes into his Tornadus. Now, I think he was thinking I would go into a little Impersion, so he could try and take that out, because once that's gone, Mega Sharpedo won. So I'm sitting at 41% thanks to leftovers. He goes for the superpower, brings me down to another 3%. What is going on? So that was nice that I lived that barely. And I fire off a nice T-Bolt, and that takes him down to 4%. Things are just living. It's ridiculous. So now he's that low. He switches into his Sharpedo, and it dies. I guess he was looking, because Sharpedo couldn't win the match on its own because of Alolan Persian. So I guess he had to you know, get Regenerator back so we had a chance to win the game. But he goes into his Tornadus here. I think the outcome here is pretty obvious. I mean, I've got a Soul Vest, I live a superpower. He misses a Hurricane, and that is the game. We pulled a nice W against Cahoots. That was the first time he lost since the first week of Season 3. Can't say can't say I'm not proud. I mean, I always go into matches with Cahoots saying I'm going to lose because he's just too good. So, that was a lovely win for me. What happened in that game though? Well, I would say that RNG was a bit more in my favour than last week. I hit Thunderwave, I hit Will-O-Wisp, I got some healthy rolls on my end. You could say he got a few unfavourable rolls on his end, but definitely think I played really well that game. I knew Leyland Persian was a way of beating Sharpedo. I knew Terrakion could take down Tornadus, and Rotom unintentionally just kind of put pressure in late game. It was an intended sack and it ended up just coming along and winning. So yeah, that was a really good game, and there was no real hacks, which was nice. So yeah, so now we are up to 1 win, 1 loss, and negative differential of -2. So we're starting the comeback. We're not, obviously we got 12 weeks, so we're not out of this yet, but we just need to grow more than we fall. So yeah, it was a good game. Can't really think of much more to say other than that. Next week I fight Zam, and I get all of my cool new teammates, because I got rid of half my team, so, well, not half, but more than a third. So you can expect an update video on that on Friday, maybe, but I got some cool mons, let's just say that much. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I can't think of anything else to say, so I'm just gonna stop. Bye.